If you have kidney disease, it's important to watch your intake of sodium, potassium, and phosphorus. Foods that contain high amounts include cola, brown rice, bananas, processed meats, and dried fruits. Your kidneys perform many important functions, including filtering your blood, removing waste through urine, producing hormones, balancing minerals, and maintaining fluid balance. When your kidneys become damaged and cannot function properly, fluid can build up in your body, and waste can accumulate in your blood. Following a kidney-friendly diet and avoiding or limiting certain foods can help decrease the accumulation of waste products in your blood, improve your kidney function, and prevent further damage. Here are 17 foods you should try to limit or avoid on a kidney diet. 1. Dark-colored soda. In addition to the calories and sugar that sodas provide, they harbor additives that contain phosphorus, especially dark-colored sodas. Many food and beverage manufacturers add phosphorus during processing to enhance flavor, prolong shelf life, and prevent discoloration. Your body absorbs this added phosphorus more than natural, animal-based, or plant-based phosphorus. Unlike natural phosphorus, phosphorus in the form of additives is not bound to protein. Rather, it's found in the form of salt and is highly absorbable by the intestinal tract. Additive phosphorus can typically be found in a product's ingredient list. However, food manufacturers are not required to list the exact amount of additive phosphorus on the label. While additive phosphorus content varies depending on the type of soda, a 12-ounce 355 cola contains 33.5 milligrams of phosphorus. As a result, sodas, especially those that are dark, should usually be avoided on a renal diet. 2. Avocados. Avocados are often touted for their many nutritious qualities, including heart-healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. While avocados are usually a healthy addition to the diet, they are considered one of the high-potassium foods to avoid with kidney disease. In fact, one average-sized avocado provides a whopping 690 milligrams of potassium. By reducing the portion size to 1/4 of an avocado, people with kidney disease can still include this food in their diets while limiting potassium if needed. Avocados, including guacamole, should be limited or avoided on a renal diet if you have been told to watch your potassium intake. However, remember that different individuals have different needs, and your overall diet and health goals are the most important thing to consider. 3. Canned foods. Canned foods such as soups, vegetables, and beans are often purchased because of their low cost and convenience. However, most canned foods contain high amounts of sodium, as salt is added as a preservative to increase shelf life. Due to the amount of sodium found in canned goods, it's often recommended that people with kidney disease avoid or limit their consumption. Choosing lower sodium varieties or those labeled no salt added is typically best. Additionally, draining and rinsing canned foods, such as canned beans and tuna, can significantly decrease the sodium content. 4. Whole wheat bread. Choosing the right bread can be confusing for individuals with kidney disease. For healthy individuals, whole wheat bread is usually recommended over refined white flour bread. Whole wheat bread may be more nutritious, mostly due to its higher fiber content. However, white bread is usually recommended over whole wheat varieties for individuals with kidney disease. This is because of its phosphorus and potassium content. The more bran and whole grains in the bread, the higher the phosphorus and potassium contents. For example, a regular slice, 36 grams of whole wheat bread, contains about 76 milligrams of phosphorus and 90 milligrams of potassium. In comparison, a regular slice, 28 grams of white bread, contains approximately 32 milligrams of phosphorus and potassium. Eating one slice of whole wheat bread instead of two can help lower your potassium and phosphorus intake without giving up whole wheat bread entirely. Note that most bread and bread products, regardless of whether they're white or whole wheat, also contain relatively high amounts of sodium. 5. Brown rice. Like whole wheat bread, brown rice is a whole grain that has a higher potassium and phosphorus content than its white rice counterpart. Each cup, 155 grams, of cooked brown rice contains 149 milligrams of phosphorus and 95 milligrams of potassium, while 1 cup, 186 grams, of cooked white rice contains only 69 milligrams of phosphorus and 54 milligrams of potassium. You may be able to fit brown rice into a renal diet, but only if the portion is controlled and balanced with other foods to avoid an excessive daily intake of potassium and phosphorus. Bulgur, buckwheat. pearled barley, and couscous are nutritious, lower phosphorus grains that can make a good substitute for brown rice. 6. Bananas. Bananas are known for their high potassium content. While naturally low in sodium, one medium banana provides 422 milligrams of potassium. If you have been instructed to limit your potassium intake, it may not be easy if a banana is a daily staple. Unfortunately, many other tropical fruits have high potassium content as well. However, pineapples contain substantially less potassium than other tropical fruits and can be a more suitable yet tasty alternative. 7. Dairy. Dairy products are rich in various vitamins and nutrients. They're also a high-protein food and a natural source of phosphorus and potassium. For example, 1 cup, 240 milliliters of whole milk provides 205 milligrams of phosphorus and 322 milligrams of potassium. Yet consuming too much dairy in conjunction with other phosphorus-rich foods can be detrimental to bone health in those with kidney disease. This may sound surprising, as milk and dairy are often recommended for strong bones and muscle health. However, when the kidneys are damaged, too much phosphorus consumption can cause a buildup of phosphorus in the blood, pulling calcium from your bones. This can make your bones thin and weak over time and increase your risk of bone breakage or fracture. Dairy products are also high in protein. Each cup, 240 milliliters of whole milk provides nearly 8 grams of protein. It may be important to limit dairy intake to avoid the buildup of protein waste in the blood. Dairy alternatives like unenriched rice milk and almond milk are much lower in potassium, phosphorus, and protein than cow's milk, making them a good substitute for milk while on a renal diet. 8. Oranges and orange juice. While oranges and orange juice are arguably most well known for their vitamin C content, they're also rich sources of potassium. 1 large orange, 184 grams, provides 333 milligrams of potassium. Moreover, there are 458 milligrams of potassium in 1 cup, 240 milliliters of orange juice. Given their potassium content, oranges and orange juice likely need to be avoided or limited on a renal diet. Grapes, apples, and cranberries, as well as their respective juices, are all good substitutes for oranges and orange juice, as they have lower potassium content. 9. Processed meats. Processed meats have long been associated with chronic diseases and are generally considered unhealthy due to their preservative contents. Processed meats are meats that have been salted, dried, cured, or canned. Some examples include hot dogs, bacon, pepperoni, jerky, and sausage. Processed meats typically contain large amounts of salt, mostly to improve their taste and preserve flavor. Therefore, it may not be easy to keep your daily sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams if processed meats are abundant in your diet. Additionally, processed meats are high in protein. If you have been told to monitor your protein intake, it's important to limit processed meats for this reason as well. 10. Pickles, olives, and relish. Pickles, processed olives, and relish are all examples of cured or pickled foods. Usually, large amounts of salt are added during the curing or pickling process. For example, 1 pickle spear can contain around 283 milligrams of sodium. Likewise, there are 244 milligrams of sodium in 2 tablespoons, 30 grams of sweet pickle relish. Processed olives also tend to be salty, as they're cured and fermented to taste less bitter. 5 green pickled olives provide about 211 milligrams of sodium, a significant portion of the daily amount in only a small serving. Many grocery stores stock reduced sodium varieties of pickles, olives, and relish, which contain less sodium than their traditional counterparts. However, even reduced sodium options can still be high in sodium, so you will still want to watch your portions. Apricots. Apricots are rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, and fiber. They're also high in potassium. Each cup, 165 grams, of fresh sliced apricots provides 427 milligrams of potassium. Furthermore, the potassium content is even more concentrated in dried apricots. Just 1 cup, 130 grams of dried apricots provides over 1/500 milligrams of potassium. This means that just 1 cup of dried apricots provides 75% of the 2,000 milligrams low potassium restriction. It's best to avoid apricots and, most importantly, dried apricots on a renal diet. 12. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are potassium-rich vegetables. Just 1 medium-sized baked potato, 156 grams, contains 610 milligrams of potassium, whereas 1 average-sized baked sweet potato, 114 grams, contains 542 milligrams of potassium. Fortunately, some high-potassium foods, including potatoes and sweet potatoes, can be soaked or leached to reduce their potassium contents. In fact, some research suggests that boiling potatoes can significantly decrease their potassium content, especially if you start with cold water. Soaking potatoes in water for 5 to 10 minutes could also reduce potassium by up to 20%. This method is known as potassium leaching, or the double cook method. Although double cooking potatoes lowers the potassium content, it's important to remember that their potassium content isn't eliminated by this method. Considerable amounts of potassium can still be present in double-cooked potatoes, so it's best to practice portion control to keep potassium levels in check. 13. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are another high-potassium fruit that may not fit the guidelines of a renal diet. They can be served raw or stewed and are often used to make sauces. Just 1 cup, 245 grams of tomato sauce can contain 728 milligrams of potassium. Though tomatoes are commonly used in many dishes, several substitutes are available. Choosing an alternative with lower potassium content depends largely on your taste preferences. However, swapping tomato sauce for a roasted red pepper sauce can be equally delicious and provide less potassium per serving. 14. Packaged, instant, and pre-made meals. Processed foods can be a major component of sodium in the diet. Among these foods, packaged, instant, and pre-made meals are usually the most heavily processed and thus contain the most sodium. Examples include frozen pizza, microwavable meals, and instant noodles. Keeping sodium intake to 2,300 milligrams per day may be difficult if you're eating highly processed foods regularly. Heavily processed foods not only contain a large amount of sodium, but also commonly lack nutrients. 15. Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens. Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens are leafy green vegetables with high amounts of nutrients and minerals, including potassium. When served raw, the amount of potassium varies between 136 to 290 milligrams per cup, 30 to 38 grams. While leafy vegetables shrink to a smaller serving size when cooked, the potassium content remains unchanged. For example, raw spinach can significantly shrink when cooked. Therefore, eating 1/2 cup of cooked spinach will contain a much higher amount of potassium than 1/2 cup of raw spinach. Raw Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens are preferable to cooked greens to avoid too much potassium. However, moderate your intake of these foods, as they're also high in oxalates. Among sensitive individuals, oxalates can increase the risk of kidney stones. Kidney stones may further damage renal tissue and decrease kidney function. 16. Dates, raisins, and prunes. Dates, raisins, and prunes are common dried fruits. When fruits are dried, their nutrients are concentrated. This includes potassium. For example, 1 cup 74 grams of prunes provides 1,270 milligrams of potassium, which is nearly 5 times the amount of potassium found in 1 cup, 165 grams of plums, its raw counterpart. Moreover, just 4 dates provide 668 milligrams of potassium. Given the high amount of potassium in these common dried fruits, it's best to go without them while on a renal diet to ensure your potassium levels remain favorable. 17. Pretzels, chips, and crackers. Ready-to-eat snack foods like pretzels, chips, and crackers tend to be lacking in nutrients and relatively high in salt. Also, it's easy to eat more than the recommended portion size of these foods, often leading to an even greater salt intake than intended. What's more, if chips are made from potatoes, they'll contain a significant amount of potassium as well. If you have kidney disease, reducing your potassium, phosphorus, and sodium intake can be an important aspect of managing the disease. The high sodium, potassium, and phosphorus foods listed above are likely best limited or avoided. Dietary restrictions and nutrient intake recommendations will vary based on the severity of your kidney damage. Following a renal diet can seem daunting and a bit restrictive at times. However, working with a healthcare professional and renal dietitian can help you design a renal diet specific to your individual needs. With that said, thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on kidney health and well-being. Until next time, take care and stay healthy.